So the reviews for Final Fantasy VII Rebirth dropped last week, and now this week we have a reaction directly from the game's director, Naoki Hamaguchi, and it is very wholesome. And also, there's going to be a live launch event for Rebirth taking place this week, so that's what we're going to discuss in today's video. If any of that sounds cool to you, feel free to click the like button, and if you're new here and you'd like to stick around, you can subscribe. It is much appreciated. So starting off first with that live stream, this is coming to us directly from Square Enix, and on February 28th at 1 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, which I believe is 3 p.m. Central Time for me, they're going to start a Final Fantasy VII Rebirth launch event hosted by Naomi Kyle and Kenny Omega. Now, I'm not really familiar with Naomi Kyle, but I'm a huge wrestling fan, so I know who Kenny Omega is, and this guy is a huge gamer. On top of that, he might be one of the best to ever do it in the ring. He's phenomenal. I really would have loved to see him go to WWE, but he's still with AEW currently, but he's a fantastic wrestler, a big gamer, and he's a huge Final Fantasy VII fan. So much so that I believe last year during New Japan Pro Wrestling's Wrestle Kingdom, which is like their WrestleMania, he not only came out dressed like Sephiroth, but he had the one-winged angel as his entrance theme. And on top of that, his finishing move is called the one-winged angel. So this guy is a legit fan, so it's going to be really cool to see him on this live stream and getting to interact with some of the other people, because some of the cast from the game is going to be there as well, including John Eric Bentley, who plays Barrett, Britt Baron, who plays Tifa, Brianna White, who plays Aerith, Susie Young, who voices Yuffie, and Max Mittelman, who is Red 13. So they're going to be showing off some new gameplay there, which I don't need to see any more of the game. I've seen enough already, but it'll be interesting to see what they show off. They're going to give away some collector's editions, another mystery exclusive item, and a bunch more. So this event should be fun. I don't know if I'm going to cover it here on the channel. It might be kind of fun to do like a reaction to it, but that's going to be taking place this Wednesday, February 28th, and it should be a lot of fun. Now, getting over to the Metacritic reaction from Naoki Hamaguchi, obviously last week the reviews for Rebirth dropped, and it came in at a 94, then it dropped to a 93, and it is currently sitting at a 92. However, getting a 90 or above on Metacritic is a pretty big deal, and it turns out that's something that Naoki Hamaguchi and the development team were aiming to do. So this comes to us directly from Naoki Hamaguchi via Metacritic, where he says, "To reach review scores over 90 was one of our goals as a development team, to reach fans and welcome new ones as well. This wonderful result was only possible thanks to the entire development team's hard work and dedication, so I'd like to thank them from the bottom of my heart. I've been supported by the press, community, influencers, and the PR team, and I can't thank them enough. Let's continue this positive momentum through the launch of the game, everyone. Thank you again, Naoki Hamaguchi." So this is really sick for a number of reasons. The first thing is, it's been a while since a Final Fantasy game has hit 90 or above on Metacritic. The closest I think they got was with Final Fantasy VII Remake, which is sitting at an 87, and I think Final Fantasy XVI is also at an 87 as well. And the highest rated Final Fantasy is Final Fantasy IX, sitting at a 94. Now, there is a bit of a caveat there. Obviously, Final Fantasy IX is a fantastic game. It's one of my all-time favorites. But back when that game came out, there was really only a handful of review outlets out there, so there's way less reviews out there, which pumps up the score much higher. Nowadays, everyone and their mom seemingly has a review site or some sort of review outlet, so there's hundreds upon hundreds of reviews that come in for games these days. So for Rebirth to still be sitting at a 92 is pretty insane. And again, if you look at the critic split once again, there's 120 reviews and they're all positive. There's no mixed and there's no negative, which is a pretty big deal, and it's a sign that this game truly could potentially be a Game of the Year contender. Now again, I don't want to hype this game up to the point where, you know, some people did with Final Fantasy XVI and then a lot of fans felt let down afterwards, but I truly think that I'm going to love this game personally, and it's probably going to be my own personal Game of the Year. Obviously, check your hype levels at the door. I don't want to get people over excited and then over promise things and then people are disappointed, because the game's going to be received differently for everybody. But seemingly what we're seeing is that this game is super high quality, and I think that's something that Square Enix has really been pushing for with the Final Fantasy franchise over the past decade or so. You know, Final Fantasy is still a relatively popular franchise, but it feels like it's been a while since it's been up there in that upper echelon of gaming where a new one comes out and people go, "Oh wait, a new Final Fantasy is out? Yeah, I have to play it." They were really kind of pushing that kind of narrative with Final Fantasy XVI. They put a lot of money into that game, and they wanted to make it as accessible as possible for a wide audience. And the game came out, and it's a bit of a mixed bag for the most part. I think it leans more towards the positive when it comes to people's reception and review of it, but it didn't quite hit that 90 on Metacritic that I think maybe they wanted it to. And I think the closest they got to having Final Fantasy kind of be back up there in the spotlight was with VII Remake, because I remember when VII Remake came out, there were people who barely spoke about video games talking about VII Remake, because it was a game that they played from their childhood, and then they discovered, wait, they're doing a remake, and they brought it up, and there was tons of ads for the game. There was city buses in large, areas that had Cloud on the side of the bus looking up at the, the Shinra Corporation building. So VII Remake was really kind of the shot in the arm that I think the franchise needed. 16 kind of helped it along the way. It seems like Rebirth is clearly pushing it over the finish line, because the reception to this game is just pretty astounding so far. And this is also really great for Naoki Hamaguchi. The guy clearly knows what he's doing based on these review scores and getting to read and watch different interviews from him and the other developers. They all really clearly care about Final Fantasy as well as Final Fantasy VII, and really just trying to make this game the best game it can possibly be. And he's still a relatively young guy, seems really well versed with a lot of modern games, and has so far seemingly, I'm saying seemingly a lot, taken influences from a lot of other AAA games like Horizon, The Witcher, Ghost of Tsushima, but kind of making them his own. Him and his team have been able to take those influences and put their own stamp on them to make them unique to the Final Fantasy universe, and it seems like it's paying off. And based on a Famitsu interview that we covered, I believe last month, it looks like Hamaguchi is going to be directing Part 3 as well. So clearly Square is pretty happy with the results of Rebirth. They were super confident in it, allowing people to drop the reviews for it a week in advance, and they took the demos all over the world for people to play. So they were clearly very confident in this product, and they knew that it was probably going to be something really special. So I'm super excited to get my hands on the game on launch night, and I'm really curious to see, a couple years from now, what they're going to do with the third part. And I'm really excited to see what Hamaguchi and the team can do to top themselves and somehow get even better and crazier than what we're seeing with Rebirth. So with that being said, that is the video. I am Curious Corduroy. Let me know in the comments down below, what do you guys think of the review scores so far and the reception for Rebirth? And what do you guys think of Naoki Hamaguchi? Is he somebody that you've got your eye on and that you're excited by? Let me know in the comments down below. I will see you guys in the next video. Please remember to always be excellent to one another.